Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today I'm here with
Easton Amelia.
Easton week of 4/27 predictions. You evened it up. You ended up going 11-5 this past week. I went 10-6, so I was one behind you.
Yeah, about time I actually won. We had a couple ties, and I won week one, and then I've had a little rough patch. So it's good to get back to the win column.
Winless streak. So we are now 2-2 and 1 against each other. So it's all tied up right now. So the large school predictions here at on Thursday. That'll be big. We'll see who ends up coming out on top at the end of this week. So the Class 1 scores from last week. Northland Christian defeated St. Pius X. St. Pius X is a Class 6 school, and Northland's a Class 1. I mean, this is a pretty new school. I think this is their 5th complete season. They've won districts twice. They're probably looking for their 3rd in 5 years. This is a pretty good baseball school, so that's a really impressive win for them. Risco defeats Cooter. This is a little bit of an upset. Risco's had a down year. They are expected to be top 10 by the coaches poll. This is a good win to get them back on track. Wheatland and Billings did not happen. Atlanta defeats New Franklin handily, 10-2. Rockport, 14-5 over South Holt. That is a statement win for the Blue Jays. I think that they're trying to make their way into the top 10. And Faith Christian, they defeat Chillicothe 9-5. This is a pretty good win for Faith Christian. Chillicothe, man, it's kind of going downhill for them. They weren't that great of a team last year, and they went off to a really good start this year. They were like 11-1, and it's kind of falling apart for them.
Yeah, I mean, I predicted Chillicothe to win that one. They play a little tougher schedule than Faith Christian, but this team is not a team you should be sleeping on. I feel like they're finding it. They had an early season, a couple losses, but I feel like they're heading in the right direction. Northland Christian versus St. Pius X, you emphasized that was a big win, and that's just something that I was not expecting, even though I predicted them. I'm like, a Class 6, Class 1, how often does a Class 1 actually win? That's pretty cool to see.
So the top 10 this week, we have a new number 1. Oran slides into the 1. I've had him at 1 this whole entire time. Easton finally decided to track onto that, and Oran moves up. So Wheatland moves down 1 spot there, the number 2. Atlanta sticks at 3. Faith Christian moves all the way up to 4 with that big win against Chillicothe. I think they actually beat Bramer as well this week, and that's a top 10 team as well. So Faith Christian had a great week. St. Elizabeth, they stick at 5. Northland is at 6. We got a real big game coming up that we're going to predict here in a second. This is lots of implications of this one. Bramer's number 7. They fell just a little bit. I think they're at 6. Halfway keeps their 8 spot. Wellington Napoleon, welcome to the top 10. They are number 9. You know, they've had a light schedule so far. They have a nice win over Lafayette County. I think there was one more pretty good win. But, I mean, they've only played 11 games. So I would like to see them pick it up. I'm not sure how they'll do in the playoffs, but I think for now it was okay to put them lower in the top 10. And Midway, they keep their spot at 10. They're kind of on the chopping block. They're 10-6 right now. But, I mean, overall they're a pretty good team, but they need to put some wins together.
Yeah, my biggest thing is with the rankings, I feel like you have to play some games. I feel like it's very tough if you only have a small sample size. So I will honestly favor those teams that have played those extra games early on.
So the scores for this week, or the predictions for this week, I should say, Bramer and Maysville, this is a massive game. Bramer are number 7 in Class 1 against Maysville, are number 5 in Class 2. This doesn't quite get the number 1 game for Class 1. The last one on the scoreboard, that's easily Class 1 game of the week, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So Bramer Wheatland, they host tonight. Is tonight the 29th? Yes. The 30th is Atlanta hosting. Wablo hosts on the 1st, Billings on the 2nd, and Faith Christian in Northland is on the 5th. Bramer versus Maysville. I got to go with Bramer here. I mean, they're scoring 8.8 a game, and they already beat Maysville this year, 6-4. Maysville, they're 2-3 in their last 5, so they're on a little bit of a slippy slide. So, you know, Bramer, their last game, they lost run rule to Faith Christian, but Faith Christian's a really good team. Maysville, obviously, a great team as well, but I don't know. They're just kind of a little cold right now.
Yeah, I think their last loss was definitely understandable. I feel like this Bramer team's able to get it done against a team that Maysville has played more games, and I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I think Bramer, they beat them earlier in the year, and they're able to do it again.
Wheatland versus Doddville. I think this one feels a little bit obvious. There may be an upset, but I wouldn't count on it. I'm going with Wheatland here to make it 20-3 on the season. They're scoring 11 runs per game. That's absolutely crazy. And they're only allowing 2.5. The pitching staff and defense is playing good.
Yeah, when your pitching staff and defense is playing good, you're going to win games, and I feel like Wheatland continues this and adds win number 20 on the year.
Atlanta versus Putnam County. This one's interesting. Putnam County is our number 4 in Class 2. Atlanta are number 3 in Class 1. I will go with the Class 1 team here, the home team, Atlanta. They're scoring 10 runs a game. They're allowing 2.7. Putnam, they're kind of iffy right now. They had a rough week. We'll see if they bounce back. They lost to Western. Western is just kind of middle of the pack. I mean, they're a top 25 school, but they're definitely not a top 10. I'd say they're fringe. I'd say Western's at least top 20. You could even you could argue that they're top 15, but I just don't think Western's a top 10 team, and that's just not a loss that Putnam County wants on their record. So I will go with Atlanta. I feel like they're doing pretty well this year.
Yeah, Atlanta on a 10-game winning streak. I don't think that snaps. They actually played them earlier in the year and beat them by 10. So 13-3 win. I feel like you're able to beat them twice.
Wablo versus Skyline. This is an interesting one. Wablo's 11-8. Skyline is 10-10. Forgot to mention, Easton did the picks this week.
Oops.
You chose the games this week. We gotta mention that. So this is your first time. I figured I could give you the spotlight at least one time this year. Let you pick the games. I think you picked some good ones, but overall it was kind of a rough week. Not a lot of insane games. So you figured that you could give some light to some new teams, and Wablo is one of them. So I will go with Wablo. Let's take the new team. And, they're scoring 7 runs a game. They're on a 6-game win streak, so I think they continue the hotness.
Yeah, Wablo is on a streak, but they only beat one team over 500. Skyline, they're 2-1 in favor of common opponents. They have some more common opponents, but they have the same results. So I'm going to actually take Skyline, and my goal of this week was to have as many new teams as possible. And I think I did pretty good at that.
Another new team, Billings we talked about, but they are hosting Exeter. So that's a new team as well. That's number 2. We'll keep a counter. I will go with Billings, though. I won't be so nice to the second new team here. Billings, they're scoring 8.7 runs a game, and they're 11-2 against Exeter since 2010. So give me the Wildcats.
Yeah, Exeter's season is pretty one way. They've done good against the bad teams. They've done bad against the good teams. So I will take Billings to win this one. They're sneaking into your top 10 now, and I feel like if they're able to just continue their success, they can snake into the Missouri Sports Talk top 10.
The Class 1 game of the week is Faith Christian versus Northland Christian. Faith Christian sits at number 4 in our polls. Northland Christian is at 6. These two teams have played already this season. It was at Northland Christian, and the Trailblazers won that one 4-3. But personally, I feel like this one may go the other way the second time. Faith Christian is hosting this time, so I think the host flip-flops, so I think the score flip-flops. Faith Christian, they're scoring 8.4 runs a game. They're only allowing 1.5. These are two very new schools. I believe this is Faith Christian's first complete season, and this is Northland's 5th complete season. So these are very new teams, Easton. I think these two teams have a very bright future. But I think overall in this one, I will go with our number 4 in the top 10 poll, Faith Christian Knights.
I'm going to go with North Christian to kind of keep the Faith Christian Knights under check. I feel like Northern Christians beat really good teams, Midbuck, California, and they did beat them earlier in the year, which really helped me make this decision.
Class 2 from this last week, Hartville, they defeated Seymour 4-2. Hartville had a rough week, though. They're 9-7 now. I think they were I want to say they were 8-3 when we did this one. So it was not the most beautiful week for the Eagles. Valley Catholic did not happen. Maysville, a close one against St. Joseph Christian. You want to win that one a little bit better than that. 7-6 is the final there for Maysville. Western, an upset over Putnam County that we called to earlier. 4-2 was the final there. Iran defeats Chaffee. This was probably the biggest game of the week in my opinion. 7-2. Iran gets it done. I don't want to say easily, but handily. In Gainesville, they beat Norwood in extra innings, 6-5. Gainesville had a rough week, though, so I think that overall that was a good win, though.
Yeah, Oran is number one for a reason, and demonstrated it in this game. But it was just really tough for me to put them at number one, even though they were defending state champs, and they also haven't played much games. And now we've seen that they're a really good team. They've beat those good teams, and it was pretty easy to move them up. And then there was a shocking Maysville and the Christian Lions. I really expected Maysville to win that one handily, but winning one run there, it's kind of questioning on what was going wrong that game.
The top 10 this week for Class 2. Number 1 is Valley Catholic. Chaffee moves up to 2, even with this loss. We actually made the rankings before that Iran game. Iberia, they dropped down to 3 from 2. Putnam County holds the 4. Maysville is at 5. They're kind of chop and block for the top 5, though. New Heights, they move up 1 to number 6. Valley sits at number 7. Puxico moves up to 8. Bloomfield slumps down to 9. It's just that they didn't really play this past week, so it was just teams were doing better than them, so it kind of shifted. And Tipton drops down to 10. They're on the top 10 chopping block right now. They had a really rough week. They're sitting at 12-5 currently. I think that they could bounce back, but overall this was a really rough past week for Tipton. The Class 2 scoreboard for this week. We'll start off with Bernie, 4:30. Valley and Canton also host on the 30th. On May 1st, Ash Grove hosts. Chaffee on the 2nd. And Russellville hosts on the 3rd. So we'll start with Bernie and Holcomb. Holcomb, a new team. This is number 3. I will go with Bernie, though. They're scoring 8.8 runs per game. And they're 6-1 against Holcomb since 2014.
Yeah, Holcomb is on a 6-game winning streak, and the reason I picked this is they're the same district, so this may be like a district final preview matchup. Bernie is the tougher schedule and done better against bigger competition, so I will take Bernie, but if Holcomb's able to win this would play huge implications on their postseason opportunities.
The Class 2 game of the week is Valley Catholic versus Farmington. Valley are number 1 in Class 2. Farmington, a really solid Class 5 school. So Valley's playing up in this one. It's tough competition, but the Warriors have done it already this season. They beat higher competition. I think they beat Duchesne. So I mean that's another one that's Class 4. So just as an example, they're scoring 8.4 runs per game, and they're only allowing 2.5. Valley, I mean they're on a crash course for the state championship as long as they don't blow it.
Yeah, I'm going to take the number 1 team in Class 2, the Warriors. I mean, when you hop some classes, that's where it gets a little confusing on if you're able to stand up to the task. But I feel like they've done this, as you said, against really good competition. They're number 1 for a reason. I feel like this is a game where they prove it.
Canton versus North Shelby. This one's a little interesting. I will go with Canton. They're scoring 6.9 a game. They're 11-1 against North Shelby since 2010, so they've got a little bit of a track record of beating the Raiders. So give me the Tigers.
North Shelby's offense has been shown all season. They've 4 games where they've put 18-plus runs up, beating Western 23-5. But Canton, they held a 5-game winning streak earlier in the year, and I feel like they're able to get back in the win column and beat the Knights.
Ash Grove versus Pierce City. I will go with Ash Grove. They're scoring 5.2 a game. That's not like insane, but they are 5-0 against Pierce City since 2019. So I think they continue that win streak.
I think Ash Grove's able to beat them. They recently beat Stockton. They had a 3-game losing skid, so that made me have some questions, but I think they're able to get back in the win column.
Chaffee versus Cooter. This is going to be pretty entertaining. Chaffee coming off of their first loss of the season, and Cooter, I mean, they got upset last week by Risco. But these are 2 really good teams. Cooter currently receiving votes in Class 1 for us. That one is from you. I have them right outside of the top 10. And Chaffee, obviously, are number 2 in Class 2. I'm going to take Chaffee, the home team. They're scoring 10.4 runs a game. And they're only allowing 1.6. The pitching staff is on fire this year.
Yeah, Chaffee lost to the number 1 team, but I think they respond really well. And they're able to get a big win against Cooter.
Russellville versus St. Elizabeth. St. Elizabeth. This is where we'll wrap up Class 2. I will go with St. Elizabeth. We've got them as our number 5 in Class 1. Even though they've got a 10-7 record, it's not the most beautiful record, but they're playing some really tough teams, including the Columbia tournament. I think they went 0-5 that week, but I mean, they're playing all Class 5 and 6 schools, and they're keeping it close. I mean, they scored 4 runs, I want to say, on Francis Howell, our number 1 in Class 6. So, I mean, this is a Class 1 school that could compete. They've got some losses on their record. They had a really rough start to the season, but, I mean, most of their guys were still wrapped up with basketball as the start of baseball and the end of basketball kind of collided. So St. Elizabeth started rough, but they're picking it up. I think they win this one. They're scoring 6.8 runs a game, and they've won 5 straight against Russellville. So
yeah, St. Elizabeth's record does not show what the team they are. Their strength of schedule for a Class 1 school is very impressive. I think they're able to take care of Russellville and just continue to propel themselves in the top of the standings.
The Class 3 scores from last week: Lamar defeated Seneca 4-1. Stockton, they lost to Ash Grove in an upset 4-3. This is a rough one for Stockton. Ava, a high-scoring matchup. They defeated Thayer 12-7. North Callaway with a solid win over Montgomery County 7-6. Lone Jack take care of business 8-2. And West County, they want that top 10 ranking. Maybe that's them next week. They won 6-1 over Portageville.
Yeah, I did not expect West County to take care of business and kind of win by a decent amount of margin. Ash Grove or Stockton. I thought Stockton got hot and they were able to win that one, but Ash Grove showed they were able to beat some really solid teams in North Callaway. They've had a hot season all year, and they just continue to pile up really good wins.
The top 10 in Class 3 this week, Lone Jack holds on to the number 1. Actually, I should note, the whole entire top 5 stays the same.
Okay.
I know that's not super entertaining for you guys, but that just shows, we think that we're doing our job correctly. We think that we have the Class 3 top 5 correct. So Lone Jack holds the 1. Scott City is 2. Fairgrove's at 3. Lawson is 4. And West Platte currently at 5. Stockton is 6. North Callaway at 7. Pembroke Hill at 8. Lamar at 9. And Licking is the 10. So this is going to be a fun week. I think Class 3's got some stacked ones. So let's go ahead and talk about it. No, Conway, this is the first time we've ever talked about them. They're 15-2, though. They're off to a really good start, and they're playing Norwood. This one is tonight on the 29th. Mid-Buchanan and West Platte also on the 29th. Thayer and Salem is the 1st. Holden on the 2nd. Fairgrove hosting on the 3rd. And Lamar on the 5th. So, Conway, I got to go with them here. I mean, making the channel debut, they're scoring 8.8 runs a game. They're allowing 2.1. They haven't played the most insane competition, but they have some pretty good wins. So, I think the Bears could win this one.
Yeah, when you're on a 10-game winning streak, everything is going right, and I feel like they're going to make it 11 against the Pirates.
The Class 3 game of the week is Mid-Buchanan versus West Platte. We got Mid-Buck right outside of the top 10. They are coming off a not beautiful loss against Lafayette St. Joseph, which is a 6-12 Class 4 team. So that doesn't look super good for the Dragons. And, I mean, we've got the Blue Jays at number 5 in Class 3. So I just got to stick with West Platte here. They're scoring 6.9 runs a game, and they're allowing 2.2.
Yeah, West Platte is on a double-digit win streak, 10, but only one team over 500, whereas Mid-Buck has played a tough schedule, and they've yet to lose back-to-back. They lost last time out, so I feel like statistically they need to win, so I'm going to take the Dragons.
Thayer versus Salem. I think this is Salem's channel debut. I might have talked about them during football, but I didn't have their logo saved, so I'm just going to say it's the channel debut, but there's a chance that I talked about them the first week of playoffs during football when it was all awful games, and there was nothing to talk about, so they made it in. But I will take Salem here. I mean, they're scoring 5.8 a game, but the big thing for me, I mean, Thayer's a good team, but Salem is 14-1 against Thayer since 2010. That is massive. So, I mean, the Tigers, they're taking care of business against Thayer every single year.
Yeah, I'm going to copy and paste what Cameron said. I will take Salem. The matchup history was very eye-opening to me, and I feel like that actually is a really good thing to look at. I just am right now adding it into how I look at games, so I will take Salem to win this one.
Holden versus Lawson. Lawson's our number 4 in Class 3, so obviously I'm going to stick with them here. They're scoring 7.6 a game. They're allowing 2.9. Currently 15-3 this year. They're looking solid. Holden, I mean, they're 10-6. They got some okay wins. I just think Lawson's going to overpower them.
Yeah, Lawson, the top 5 team. I think they're able to take care of the Eagles and win this one, I would say, by double digits.
Oh, okay. You're going run roll here. That could really bite you if someone from Holden sees this and they win. Fairgrove versus East Newton. I'm taking Fairgrove here. They're our number 3 in Class 3. They're scoring 6.9 a game, and they're allowing 2.3 a game.
Yeah, Fairgrove on a 4-game winning streak. I think they're able to make it 5 against East Newton.
Lamar versus Jasper. This is channel debut number 6. The Jasper Eagles. Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk coverage. They're 10-5 this year, but I don't think that they can beat Lamar, if we're going to be honest. I mean, we got Lamar, what did I say, number 9. So, I mean, this is a good team. They had some weird losses, Lamar did. But, I mean, they beat Seneca last week, so I think they're getting back on track. They're scoring at 7.8 runs per game, and, I mean, they're 10-0 against Jasper since 2010. So I think they make that 11-0.
Hey, please don't sleep on Jasper. They're a solid team that have played solid teams. But I think Lamar won earlier in the year, and they're able to win this one. But the Eagles, I think they could pull it off, possibly.
All right. I think tomorrow I will be at Capital City versus Elias, maybe.
Okay.
Not 100% on that, but Thursday for sure will be the large school predictions. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.